The Wall Street rally continues as the Dow Jones gains for the 8th straight day, driven by stronger than expected quarterly earnings. Stocks in the Asia Pacific, however, trade largely lower, while the gift Nifty is implying a negative start for the Indian market. Brent crude prices rise above $80 a barrel on hopes of higher demand, but bear gains as profit-taking sets in. The demerger of Jio Financial Services from Reliance Industries will be completed today. A special pre-open price discovery session will be held to find the value of Reliance X of Jio Financial Services. Jio Financial will also temporarily be the 51st stock on the Nifty. It will be removed from the index 3 days before it lists. Industry-leading revenue growth expected from Infosys as it reports its first quarter numbers today. FMCG major HUL, meanwhile, is likely to deliver 14% profit growth along with margin expansion. From the broader markets, track earnings from Havells, Persistent Systems and Coforge. The monsoon session of Parliament begins today. Opposition parties are likely to rake up the Manipur crisis among other issues. 31 bills are likely to be tabled during the session, including 21 new legislations. Good morning in the Mumbai News Center. I'm Sonal Putra. You're watching Power Breakfast. It's a Thursday morning. We do have a lot of global cues to track as well. The US markets closed higher, but first up, let's take a look at what the Asian markets are doing in trade today. They're largely lower despite a strong handover that we got from the Wall Street. But we do have the Hang Seng, which after seeing 2 days of continuous red on the screen, is seeing some gains right now, up to 27 points right now. Taiwanese index is also up around 67 points. However, there is some profit taking that we are seeing on the Nikkei. That one is down 0.5%. We have Straits Times, which is lower in trade as well. So it is a mixed open for the Asian markets, and that is something we'll be tracking for you as well. The gift Nifty, that'll come up for you on the screen, and that one is indicating an implied open, if we compare it with Nifty futures, a decline of 30 points. So that is a level we'll be tracking for our own markets as well. Let's talk about the US markets now. Wall Street ended Wednesday's trading session higher, with the Dow Jones surging over 100 points, notching its longest winning streak since September 2019. The S&P 500 was up 10 points, while the Nasdaq closed flat. Goldman Sachs posted profit below estimates for the second quarter, even as revenue beat expectations. Tesla shares dropped post-market hours following the company's earnings call. Price cuts and incentives weighed down operating margin, while quarterly revenue came in at a record high. Meanwhile, shares of Netflix also declined over 8% in after hours. The streaming giant reported an uptick in subscriptions in the second quarter, led by its new password sharing policy, but revenue missed street estimates. Okay, let's also listen into some important market opinion coming in from Alliance's Chief Economic Advisor, Mohammed Al-Aryan.
This soft landing narrative has coincided with money on the sideline. So the two things together lead to something that you want to be part of. You don't want to be pushing against. That is the tactical view for the next few weeks. Beyond that, we're going to go back to the issue of how sticky is inflation. Will the Fed overdo it? And can the economy and the non-bank financial institutions navigate the cumulative impact of the rate hikes? But I would not get in the way of this rally, and it's being fueled not only by domestic factors, but as we see today, by international factors as well.
Okay, that's the global market action. A lot of earnings that the global markets are tracking, and that's something that we'll do as well. Important earnings that are slated today. But how will these cues impact our own markets along with the domestic cues? We have our research team joining in to tell you just that. The trade setup, the stocks that are likely to be in the news, and the action from the F&O space as well. Hey guys, a very good morning to all of you. Rima, let me come across to you first up. It's a big day for our own markets as well.
Yes, you've got so many big earnings, right? Infosys, HUL in the frontline pack. In the mid-cap IT pack, there is Persistent, Coforge, Emphasis, Zensar, and not just that, Havells, United Spirits. These are very large economy-related companies which will be reporting numbers. So we'll get a clear idea about the kind of margin expansion, the demand picture on the ground. So today is really going to be a stock-specific day. Top line, as you pointed out, the gift Nifty is suggesting a slightly lower start. You know, the market's consolidated for 1 or 2 days, and then they're moving up a step. So, the momentum is still very much intact, but can we keep going up in a linear fashion? No. So we're likely to see, markets pause for a bit, consolidate it, and then maybe take off. Experts we've spoken to still seem to suggest that the trend is very much intact. There is no sign of reversal. It's just that consolidation might be healthy. Global markets are also on the higher side. The Dow and the S&P 500 gaining about 0.5% in terms of flows. The DII sold 2,134 crore. The FIIs were net buyers of 1,165 crore. Net, there is an institutional sell figure of 1,000 crore rupees. There is the monsoon session of the parliament begins today. So that's going to be tracked very closely with the opposition coming together. The price discovery session for Reliance Industries is going to take center stage. And then, as I said, it's going to be about the earnings reaction and the earnings to watch today. Back to you.
Okay, yes, so you spoke about certain stocks that will be in focus. There's other list as well. Surbi is joining us with that list. Hey, Surbi, morning.
Morning. So first up is, of course, Reliance Industries. Geo Financial will be demerged from the company. Canfin Homes, they reported the Q1 numbers. It was a strong P&L, but AUM growth rate was at a 7-quarter low. Net interest income was up 14% on a year-on-year basis. L&T Finance, the net interest margins was at an 8-year high, and the ROA was at a 14-quarter high. Tata Communications, it was a good revenue growth, but margins were weaker. Revenues were up nearly 4% on a sequential basis, and the EBITDA came in at 21.5%. Hudson Agro, it was a good operational performance, but the revenue growth was muted at 6.8%. Federal Bank, the company launches its QIP book, and the floor price is set at 132 rupees per share. Shree Cement, the company gets a letter from MCA for the inspection. Krishna Diagnostics, the National Health Mission, Rajasthan cancels their letter of acceptance for providing laboratory services. And as Reema mentioned, the big earnings today, Infosys, HUL, United Spirits, Coforge, so all will be on our radar today.
Okay, all right. That's a long list. Thank you, Surbi, for that. Finally, let's talk about the F&O space. Mangnam is joining in with those cues.
Good morning. So yesterday we ended at virtually the high point of trade, and now the GIFT Nifty is indicating a softer start. So let's put all the cues on the table. 2,100 crores is what the DII sold yesterday. The FIIs continue to buy in our market, so 1,166 crores is what they bought. So there was net buying in the cash market by the FIIs, and they also bought about 2,400 crores in stock futures. They took some money off in index futures, where they sold about 460 crores. Unwound a few longs, added a few shorts. Nothing really changes the mix a lot because they're still 70% net long in index futures itself. The big cue for today will be the fact that it is weekly options expiry. And ahead of that, if you just take a look at the way the FIIs were positioned in index options, on a net basis, they bought almost 1,600 odd crores. But a large part of that buying was, in the Nifty itself. The Nifty options, they bought around 4,700 crores. Whereas the Nifty bank options, they sold 4,500 crores. What did they sell in the Nifty bank? A bunch of puts. In fact, ahead of weekly options expiry, the FIIs have sold nearly 4 puts per call. 1.2 lakh puts which have been sold versus 31,000 calls itself. In the Nifty bank, it's the 45,600 put that they've sold most, and that's extremely active with a premium of 115 rupees, telling you that 45,500 is an important support to watch out for the Nifty bank. For the Nifty itself, 19,800 put was extremely active, as was the 19,850 call, telling you that the support on the Nifty has moved higher from 19,650 to 19,700 to 19,750, whereas the resistance is around 19,850 to around 19,900 itself. So those are a couple of levels we'll have to watch out for. In terms of stocks, Polycab, 2 days of rally, the stocks entered the F&O ban. L&T Fin Holdings also is in F&O ban.
Okay, all right. So those are all the cues from the F&O space. Let's talk about commodities as well now. Manisha Gupta is joining us with all the update. Hey, Manisha, good morning.
Morning, and thank you for that. Well, we have seen the commodity market start slightly on a weaker note, and this is because there has been a strong rebound of dollar index ahead of the U.S. Fed meeting, which is on 26th of July. Also, the markets were keeping a keen eye on China, which has kept its 1- and 5-year loan prime rate at stable. They haven't made a change on that, and that's slightly disappointed the markets. Is the reason you have seen the crude oil prices slipping. Also, adding to the decline in crude prices is the fact that the U.S. inventories have declined much less than what the street was anticipating. So demand, whether it's about gasoline, distillates, even air conditioning demand, is not as strong as the market would like to believe. Same is the case for the metal prices. Also, the lack of China stimulus is weighing here. So we've seen copper prices, zinc, aluminum all decline anywhere between 1 to 1.5% in the overnight markets.
Right, okay, those are the cues from the commodity markets. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us and prepping us up for this trading day ahead. Time for a short break now. When we return, the monsoon session of the Parliament begins today. We'll get you everything on the agenda on the other side. Stay tuned. Welcome back. The Union government convened a customary all-party meet ahead of Parliament's monsoon session in New Delhi. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh chaired the gathering. Congress leaders demanded a discussion on the Manipur situation. Lok Sabha opposition leader Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary said that they would move an adjournment motion on the issue tomorrow. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi said that the government was ready to have a discussion on the Manipur violence on the floor of the House.
हमने ऑल पार्टी फ्लोर लीडर्स का मीटिंग बुलाया था तो कल से सेशन शुरू होने वाला है मेनी सजेशंस अपोजिशन पार्टीज हैव आल्सो गिवन सभी पार्टियां मणिपुर के बारे में चर्चा की मांग कर रहे थे मणिपुर के बारे में चर्चा के लिए सरकार तैयार है
And the monsoon session of Parliament begins today. The centre is likely to introduce over 20 new bills in this session, which will conclude on the 11th of August. My colleague Parikshit Luthra joins now with more details. Parikshit, what's on the agenda?
This is bound to be a stormy session of Parliament. There are 15 sessions in all that will take place. 21 new bills, notable among them the Digital Personal Data Protection Bill, which has been in works for a very long time, the Forest Conservation Amendment Bill, the Jan Vishwas Amendment Bill, which will decriminalize several laws, the Mines and Minerals Amendment Bill, which will pave the way for lithium mining. You will also see bills such as the Delhi Ordinance. This will replace the Delhi Ordinance, which gives the central government power over transfer and postings of Group A officers in New Delhi. Now, this was a major point of standoff between the Delhi government and the centre. Many opposition parties are together on this issue, so you could see tensions on the floor of the House. There will also be questions asked on the Manipur violence which has been going on, also misuse of investigating agencies, bringing of GSTN under the PMLA framework as well. So expect some tough questions from the opposition, some fiery exchanges between the government and the opposition. We will also see for the first time how these 26 opposition parties who have come together for the India alliance behave on the floor of the House. What is their coordination and collaboration like on the issues?
Pariksha, thank you so much for joining us with those details. Of course, we'll keep coming back to you for more updates in this one. Let's now get you some quick updates on monsoon. The IMD has declared an orange alert in Mumbai and several other parts of Maharashtra, and the state government has ordered schools and offices to remain shut in Mumbai today. Districts like Pune and Raigad have been issued a more severe red alert. In Uttar Pradesh, rain-related incidents claimed at least 4 lives in less than a day, while nearly 40,000 people have been affected by floods. Torrential downpour in Gujarat's Saurashtra has led to a flood-like situation in low-lying areas and left several stranded. And several rescue teams, including from the Indian Air Force, have been deployed for rescue efforts in flood-hit Himachal Pradesh. Okay, we'll slip into another break now. Up next, the much-awaited demerger of Jio Financial Services out of Reliance Industries will be held today. We'll get you the details when we come back. Stay tuned for that. Welcome back. You're still tuned into Power Breakfast on CNBC TV18. Well, before we talk about Reliance, let's quickly do an Asia check. What's happening in the Asian markets, that is. We did see that Nikkei was lower and that continues to be lower. Hang Seng too has pared off some of its gains, but it's still higher, 142 points higher there. And this is coming in after 2 days of losses for that particular market. Taiwanese index is higher by 84 points. And we have something like Straits Times, which is lower as well. So largely it's a mixed picture for the Asian markets, and this despite the positive handover that we got from the US markets as well. But let's move on now. The demerger of Jio Financial Services from Reliance Industries will be concluded today. Prashant is joining us now to tell us all that we need to know about this event. Prashant.
Well, thanks very much, Sonal, for that. Now, this is the much-awaited demerger of Jio Financial Services, as you said, out of Reliance Industries, and the process starts today. Let's quickly go through what you need to know about what will happen this morning. So the exchanges basically will run a special pre-open price discovery session between 9 and 10 a.m. This is because Jio Financial is being separated out of RIL as a separate entity, so we need to know ex-Jio Financial what is Reliance Industries worth. That is what this session is all about. The overall market will open as usual at 9:15 a.m., but with one difference. Reliance Industries' stock price will not change in the Nifty or anywhere else till 10 a.m. So basically, till 10 a.m., Reliance Industries will quote at a fixed price, that is at yesterday's closing price, which was 2,841 rupees and 85 paise a share on the NSE. Now, the price discovery session will be over at 9:45 a.m. and we will know the new price for Reliance ex-Jio Financial Services. And at 10 a.m. This morning, Reliance will also start trading ex-Jio Financial Services. Remember, the futures and options contracts, which all expired on Reliance as of yesterday, they will also, the new contracts will start trading at 10 a.m. today once the underlying starts trading. The price or the value of Jio Financial Services will be taken as the difference between RIL's closing price yesterday, which is that 28.41.42 level, and the minus the discovered price of Reliance in the special price discovery session, whatever price we get at between 9:45 and 9:55. Jio Financial will also be today included in the Nifty at a fixed price. So Jio Financial will be the 51st stock on the index. But this is temporary. Remember, it'll be there. It'll be included in the Nifty, but you can't trade, buy, sell Jio Financial Services. When you will be able to do that is when it actually lists. And when it lists, that is when Jio Financial will be, 3 days after it lists, we don't know the date yet, it'll be removed from the index. So, we'll get into the mechanics of that later. But for now, this morning, I think this is sort of a primer in terms of what you should expect between market opening all the way till about 10 or so, and we have the price and Reliance ex-Jio Financial Services starts to trade. Back to you.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Prashant, for joining us with all those details. Of course, the standard disclaimer as well, that'll come up for you on the screen when it comes to Reliance Industries. But with that, we'll take your leave on this edition of Power Breakfast. Stay tuned. Bazaar Morning Call comes up next.